gradient spin kicks, so like your 540 and your 720. There's a lot of questions and debates on which step is correct, but I'm going to simplify it to 2 steps. There are 2 main steps that I see a lot of people in the tricking community, in the freestyle Poomsae community, and just in general use. The 2 main differences are, one is a single step and one is a double step. So we're going to leave them like that, a single or a double step. So a single step is basically a step all the way around, and once your foot touches the ground, you punch from there. You don't readjust your foot. That's why it's called a single step, because you only step once. A double step is when you basically punch the ground twice. So if you're here, you're going 1, 2, up. The double step is definitely a lot more common, but I have noticed a lot of trickers are really utilizing that single step too. So it kind of depends on your preference, and then how well are you able to get your body in the air. So it's really up to you which one you prefer. I personally started off with the single step, and then I transitioned to the double step, and now I'm kind of like playing around with the single step again. So again, it's really up to you what you want to use. Okay, so now that we know the differences between the single and the double step, I'm going to cover more in depth on how to do them. For the single step, we're going to start from here in an open position. Whenever you step around, don't go up and around too big, because that's causing a lot of unnecessary motion for you to get around. So instead, you want to just keep your body low, keep your knees bent. You're going to step and have your heel up, pointing the direction that you want to kick. So if the camera right in front of me is my target, I want my heel pointing that way and my head over my shoulder. That way it's easy to swing up. A lot of mistakes that I see is people will put their foot here and try to jump from here, but that's a lot of extra rotation for something you don't necessarily need to do. So again, a single step, you don't want your knee to come up and around. It looks awkward. You just want to naturally turn and up. The next thing is to also keep that knee bent. If you notice, my knee is bent the entire time. This is going to help me push off that leg. If I leave my leg straight, it's really stiff and hard to jump from there. Double step. How do you do the double step? This one is tricky. The one thing that I've noticed is that your first step is going to be facing more towards the front. That way when you turn, it's a quick turn to jump up. Okay, so if I'm going to do this a little bit slower, I'm going 1, 2. I'm going to try to get even more rotation than I do with the single step. The double step helps you cheat a little bit more on the ground. That way it's easy to come up. Now, a common mistake that I see with the double step is that people will go like 1 and then bring it back in, or they'll step in and then try to step out, or they really overstep and go like this and then jump up from there. All of those are incorrect. You want to make sure that for your double step, you want your foot facing that direction and then turning more towards that way and then up. That's going to help you maximize your height and alignment for your jump kick to go upwards, which is our goal. It's really important to understand the differences between your single and double step. As you get into more tricking combinations, you're going to be utilizing both steps. So for example, if you're going into your first trick, your first kick, you're probably going to want to utilize more of the double step if that's what you're comfortable with. But as you progress onward, you may not have enough time or proper mechanics to do that double step. So you might prefer a single step. So an example of that is, let's say I'm going from a turning roundhouse into a 540. If I go from that spike point right there, I won't have time to necessarily go, because it's going to mess with the flow of the trick. So you need to be accustomed to how a single step works. That way you can go from here, looks just like what we did earlier, right away. So while you can choose which one you want to do, you also want to make sure you're practicing both. That way you're comfortable for when you start moving into more complex sequences. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you guys learned something. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!